In the fall of 2021, Texas woman Laisha Garcia had an active warrant out of Dallas County for the capital murder of multiple people. The warrant stemmed from a 2020 shooting involving 19-year-old Garcia and 4 others. It occurred in the 9100 block of Bruton Road and left 2 young men dead. In September of 2021, Dallas County law enforcement tried to pull over a vehicle in which Garcia was a passenger, but it drove off at high speed. It ran several stop signs and red lights in a pursuit that culminated with Garcia jumping out of the vehicle. While it was still in motion, she was apprehended and during questioning lied to the police about who she was. After her identity and murder suspect status was established, Garcia was arrested for giving false information during an interview with police. She was treated at a hospital and her mugshot showed the injuries she'd suffered during her ill-fated attempt to flee justice. Number 9. Finley Jeffries. English officers patrolling the town of St. Neots on August the 21st of 2023 came upon 20-year-old Finley Jeffries as he sat on a fence on Hardwick Road with a man bag across his front and a black plastic bag in his hand. Law enforcement approached Jeffries to speak with him, but he took off running. The chase was captured on body cam and culminated with the young man jumping into a river. He remained in the water for several minutes and tied his man bag to some hanging branches. Jeffries eventually got out and spoke with the officers. A member of the public with a paddle board helped the police retrieve the man bag, which was found to contain cash, cocaine, ecstasy, and ketamine. The drugs had an estimated street value of £2,000. Jeffries was arrested and ultimately pleaded guilty to multiple drug charges, as well as harassment without violence and malicious communication. On June the 4th of 2024 at Cambridge Crown Court, he was jailed for 3 years and 11 months. A St. Neots police officer subsequently told the media that Jeffries put his life at risk by jumping into the river in an attempt to hide his drugs and cash from us, adding that the police were well aware of what he was doing before concluding, "We will continue to target people who sell drugs in our community." Number 8. Incident in Brazil. Brazil's Espírito Santo military police launched an operation to arrest neighborhood drug dealers in the municipality of Marechal Floriano in mid-May of 2024. Law enforcement raided a building after receiving information from a suspect that a drug deal was going to be carried out. As the military police conducted the search, 2 drug dealers attempted a daring escape from a 3rd-floor window. One of them climbed down the side of the building, jumped and landed on a police SUV that was parked below. He took off running while his partner, a man in his mid-20s, tried to escape in a similar manner. Cell phone video showed him climbing down from the window but then losing his balance and plummeting more than 40 feet towards the street. His body flailed in the air and spun into a backflip before he slammed into the police SUV, shattering its windshield. He was rushed to Dr. Arthur Gerhardt Hospital, where he was treated for trauma prior to being taken into custody. Inside the apartment from which he and his partner had fled, the police found 295 crack rocks, 45 packages of cocaine, 10 grams of crack, and 189 grams of cocaine paste. Number 7. Tejon Wright Freeman. On the night of February the 20th of 2021, homeless man Tejon Wright Freeman stole a Toyota Tundra pickup in downtown Los Angeles. As he sped toward the intersection 7th and Figueroa Streets, he slammed into Botagos Zanya Basieva while she was using the crosswalk. Freeman kept driving, dumped the truck a few blocks away and fled. He was identified via DNA evidence he'd left inside the vehicle, and the LAPD issued 3 felony warrants in his name for vandalism, grand theft auto, and hit and run. The authorities advised members of the public to keep their distance if they spotted Freeman, as he was to be considered armed and dangerous. In the collision's immediate aftermath, Zanyes Bayeva was rushed to a hospital after suffering a number of devastating injuries, including multiple broken bones. The woman was pictured in her hospital bed with extensive bruising on her face and a cast on her left arm. She told the police, "I don't remember how it happened. I only remember that I was just crossing the street and I woke up in the emergency room." As Zanyes Bayeva recovered from her injuries, Freeman fled the state and remained on the run for nearly a year. In late January of 2022, The LAPD announced that he was apprehended in Phoenix, Arizona, where he was jailed while awaiting extradition to California. Number 6. Morgan Grider. A teenager from Lexington, North Carolina was arrested in the fall of 2018 following a high-speed chase in Davidson County. The incident began when deputies attempted to stop 18-year-old Morgan Grider, who was driving recklessly in a silver Honda Accord on Old US 52 near Walser Road. Grider continued driving and accelerated up to 120 miles per hour while trying to lose the authorities tailing her. Deputies opted to stop the chase out of concern for public safety, but the Accord was subsequently located by Winston-Salem authorities. Grider was arrested for speeding 120 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone, felony speeding to elude, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Number 5. Shelby Lynn Neely. In May of 2015, Shelby Lynn Neely, an 18-year-old from Spartanburg, South Carolina, was arrested alongside Kevin Edward Poole, aged 34, for fleeing law enforcement in a stolen vehicle. The incident began with Spartanburg County deputies receiving calls that a Volkswagen Jetta had been involved in an unspecified disturbance. Upon locating the vehicle on the 1300 Asheville Highway, deputies realized it had been reported stolen and initiated a traffic stop, but Poole sped away. The pursuit ended at the intersection of Brianna Drive and Old Furnace Road, after which Neely and Poole were taken into custody for possession of a stolen vehicle greater than $10,000, with the latter also charged with failure to stop for a blue light. It was unclear how the case was resolved, but by August of the following year, Neely had an active warrant for use of a vehicle without the owner's consent and a bench warrant for shoplifting. Shortly before noon on the 26th of the month, a vehicle was reported stolen in Boiling Springs. Deputies used GPS to track it down to the intersection of Springfield Road and Highway 176. They signaled it to stop, but the driver didn't comply, and a chase ensued. Neely was behind the wheel of the stolen car, and as she fled from the cops, she drove recklessly at high rates of speed, passing several cars on double yellow lines. During the pursuit, stop sticks were deployed, but Neely was able to drive around them. She at one point mounted the sidewalk, and the pedestrian had to jump out of the way to avoid being hit. The chase came to an end as Neely crashed into the vehicle of a deputy who was blocking traffic at the intersection of Highway 9 and Old Furnace Road. The woman, who admitted that she'd fled because of her pre-existing legal troubles, was taken into custody without incident on charges that included attempted murder, assault of a high and aggravated nature, failure to stop, reckless driving, and possession of a stolen vehicle. Number 4. Felicia Williams. In the early hours of October the 6th of 2023, officers from the Lynchburg Police Department were called to the 2100 block of 12th Street after someone had been spotted pouring gasoline near a building and a vehicle. The suspect, subsequently identified as local woman Felicia Williams, ignited the flammable material and then fled the scene in a U-Haul truck. The police found the vehicle on 12th Street and tried to stop 40-year-old Williams, but she wouldn't comply. During the pursuit that followed, the U-Haul collided with a police patrol cruiser at the intersection of 12th and Monroe Streets. An officer was treated for non-life-threatening injuries in the aftermath. The chase ended with Williams crashing into a parked car at the intersection of 12th and Main Streets. She was taken into custody following a brief struggle and rushed to Lynchburg General Hospital with serious injuries. Updates on the matter indicated that she was charged with arson, felony eluding, felony hit and run, and 2 counts of assault on a law enforcement officer, among others. Number 3. Carol Ann Smith. In May of 2023, Carol Ann Smith from St. Louis, Michigan stole a Ford Edge from the parking lot of the Chippewa Motel in Wynn. The owner reported the theft, and an Isabella County Sheriff's deputy spotted 34-year-old Smith shortly thereafter. During the ensuing traffic stop, the deputy tried to remove Smith from the stolen vehicle, but she resisted and eventually drove off. The pursuit lasted for several minutes, with Smith ignoring the deputy's light and sirens while at one point pushing the vehicle to nearly 130 miles per hour. She sped through 2 T intersections, ran several vehicles off the road, and nearly caused multiple accidents. Spike strips successfully disabled the vehicle, and Smith jumped out of it while it was still moving, suffering serious injuries. The face-tattooed woman's booking photo showed her with purple swollen eyes and a large bandage on her forehead. She was charged with 5 felonies, including receiving and concealing stolen property, third-degree fleeing police, and unlawful driving away of an automobile. The woman's past convictions included escape from a juvenile facility, retail fraud, and drunken driving. Today's topic was requested by Devious187 and Jamaican Joe 1133. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Jake Vesey. 26-year-old Jake Vesey from Manchester, England, was jailed for 18 months at Bradford Crown Court in December of 2018 after pleading guilty to dangerous driving, driving while banned, and driving without insurance. In April of that year, Vesey was behind the wheel of a stolen Volkswagen Golf while driving on the M62. Upon encountering slow-moving traffic on all 4 lanes, he moved onto the hard shoulder and accelerated to over 90 miles per hour. While in lane 4, the man reached a speed that exceeded 120 miles per hour. As he tried to get off the motorway at junction 24, Vesey lost control of the Volkswagen, swerved into the oncoming lane, and crashed into 3 vehicles. All of the cars involved in the collision sustained significant damage, but their occupants were only left with minor injuries. At the time of the incident, Vesey was on license for a previous robbery. The man, who had 34 convictions on his record for 70 offenses, was arrested and admitted to law enforcement he was disqualified from driving and had no insurance. In his mugshot, Vesey bore the marks of the crash, with one of his eyes being swollen shut. During sentencing, Judge Jonathan Durham Hall QC told Vesey that he could have easily killed a large number of people. Number 1. Incident in Texas. On November the 8th of 2023, a police chase ended in the death of 8 people on a highway in South Texas, about 100 miles from San Antonio. A 2009 Honda Civic, suspected of carrying smuggled migrants, drove at high speed as it fled from deputies of the Zavala County Sheriff's Office. While trying to overtake a semi-trailer, the Honda plowed into an oncoming 2015 Chevrolet Equinox, which caught fire following the impact. Photos taken in the crash's aftermath show that both vehicles had been left unrecognizable. Everyone involved in the collision died, but their names weren't immediately disclosed. The 2 occupants of the Chevrolet were from Georgia, while the driver of the Honda was only identified as a man from Houston. He died alongside his 5 passengers, some of whom were reported as being from Honduras. The incident renewed conversations over the risks of pursuits conducted by law enforcement in matters of people smuggling, as several deadly incidents had been reported in recent years. According to the American Civil Liberties Union of Texas, between January of 2010 and June of 2023, 106 deaths were reported in Border Patrol vehicle pursuits. The November incident in Texas had the highest countrywide death toll of a crash involving migrants since 13 people died in a collision in remote Holtville, California in March of 2021. Thanks for watching. Would you rather flee the cops on roller skates or by running across a highway in rush hour traffic? Let us know in the comments section below.